there, I'm Kathy.
And I'm Annie.
And we're the Thrive Life Sisters. And today we're going to be talking about
Emergency kits. There's 72-hour emergency kits that are pretty critical in case you need them at some point. And you've got all these essentials in one bag that you can just grab and go. Even the, we're in different cities, they encourage us to have that because first responders won't get to us. So,
well, I know close to where we were, there was a bunch of fires. And so they said, be prepared. You never know if you're going to have to just grab and go with the forest fires that were happening. So I thought a little bit about what I'd put in my kits. And so we thought we'd show you a little bit of the things that we put in our kits. So,
all right. So we'll start. Okay, go ahead.
No, I just said we start with the most important, of course.
Basic needs.
Water and food. So we have, this is like a packet.
MREs.
MREs. So there's little bars that you can eat, and it all is vacuum sealed, which is really nice.
So there's the water that comes that way too. So you're actually just opening one, drinking it, and then you're actually spreading out your water, so you're not actually consuming it all in one shot. So here there's probably 72 hours worth, and you have it in a packet, you open it up, and you just drink the one, and the rest, you're spreading it out. So that's one thing. We did throw in some Thrive as well. That's food. That's just a little snacking option, like a treat, okay?
If you don't have the water like that lasts a long time. It's a couple of years shelf life on that. But you can just get your water bottles, or you can also have water filtration bottles like this. It has a filter in it, so you can just fill it up and then drink from it, and it's purified that way. I have one of those for each of my kids in their packs as well.
All right. So we also have some wet wipes. Wet wipes are really nice and handy, so a nice thing to have.
I really like to have, for each of my kids, I put some form of an activity or a toy. So you never know, if you're away from everything, you might be bored. So I threw in a ball and a little Rubik's Cube. I also have a little, and I put some of these things in Ziploc bags because you never know if your bag gets dumped in the water or it's raining. This just keeps it dry. And then a little Windup Flashlight, which is really good. You just wind it up and it's a little flashlight. I have a little one. They're pretty inexpensive for each of the kids and myself.
And here's a whistle and a compass. Not that too many people use a compass anymore, but it's kind of handy to have. Also, Kathy was saying putting things in Ziploc bags. What we've done is we've put all of our clothing. So clothing is important, having an extra change of clothing, because if it's really cold and you need it, then you can change into it. And then Ziploc those as well. So we got some big Ziploc bags, and we just suction, and then you stuff it in, and if anything gets wet, it's perfectly fine.
I put like a t-shirt and shorts because they're small and compact, but then a pair of warmer clothing as well. I put a toque and some mittens as well. So little cheapo gloves you could get at the dollar store, and a toque because you never know.
And just to throw a blanket. It's always handy to have.
And if you go fleece or wool, even if it's wet, it'll still keep you warm. Whereas if you have a cotton blanket, it will make you cold if it's wet. So just remember that when you're getting blankets. I put a pen and a pad of paper, and at the end of the pen, I just put tape. So if you never know if you need tape, but at least it's handy with a pen.
Okay, a mask. So a mask is important too because you never know if you're going to need it. If there's a lot of smoke in the air, a mask is important. And we've got some hot shots, so you can put them in your mittens and keep warm.
In a little Ziploc bag, I put a little bit of money, so you have some change and a little bit of money. I also put phone numbers, all the emergency phone numbers. So if my kids, everybody uses their phone now. And so honestly, I couldn't remember my daughter's phone number the other day because it's just in my phone, I just dial it. So this is a way you can have all of the phone numbers that you need, all the emergency contacts, family members, because you might be separated, at least you could still have phone numbers for that. And then I laminated, so it doesn't get wet, a picture of our family, so that then if the kids have to say, I'm looking for my mom, or they were, drawn away somehow, with natural disaster, that can happen. So then at least they have an image of what they could say, I'm looking for my mom and dad, this is what they look like. And it also will give them some form of comfort as well by having this with them. And I wrote a little note to each of my kids inside their little thing. So I just thought that was handy.
That's perfect. Tin foil is always handy because it reflects, and it also, you can easily use it on a stove, wrap up your food if you find some food, and then you can cook it that way. But it's always nice to have tin foil. It's really handy.
I put in a little Ziploc bag all little individual, I hope we're close enough that they could see, little Ziploc bags from the dollar store. So I put hot chocolate, there's a vanilla protein, and there's a chicken stock, like an OXO cube, and beef OXO. So they're all in little, so if they just have hot water, they can still have something warm to be able to sustain them.
Okay, so a few extra things that are really handy. Of course, a cup, as Kathy explained, once you do that, you'll want to be able to hydrate that. Also, there's a blanket, a survival blanket. Also, oh, you've got a couple survival blankets in there.
That's a tent.
Okay, a tent, nice, and a poncho in case it rains.
Nothing worse than being wet.
And also big garbage bags work really, really well if you have that in there too. Okay?
That's the garbage bag.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I didn't know that was there.
I just put elastics on there so that the elastics, you never know if you need that, or zip ties. You can have zip ties. You never know when you're going to need them. They're just kind of handy, but they're lightweight. So, and then of course a bandana from any dollar store. It can have multiple purposes for first aid or just to get it wet, put on your head, keep you cool. Bandanas are a pretty handy one to definitely have.
Yeah, balaclavas are really good too in case you're in a cold area. We have those in ours, but a safety pins, a few safety pins that Kathy forgot that was on there too, which are handy.
Cards just to keep you busy because you might be sitting in an area for a long time, so they're a good thing to be able to keep you busy.
Okay, carabiner, and it's got a little bit like a knife on there, so you can use that to
pocket knife. You never know.
Hold up, your tinfoil tent.
So you never know what you're going to need. Just give it a try. I actually want to take this out, and I heard the best way to know if you have everything that you need is to go out. Just emergency, tell your kids, okay, we've got to leave the house right now, and see if you could survive for 72 hours just off of what you have in your kit. That's a good way to really know what you need and what you don't need.
We have done that. Actually, I'll just tell you a little story. We did do that. We took our children, we had our 5 kids, we took our backpacks, and away we went. And we had actually, it was that beef jerky rods, and we actually used them as fire starter for sticks because they ended up being, we left it too long and we didn't pay attention. So you've got to replenish the food if it's going to go bad. And Thrive is great for that, actually, because you can put food in there and it's handy dandy. But that was one experience that we had with our kids, and we realized that, whoa, this is just really basics. And that's the whole idea. It's just basics. A toothbrush.
When you know it's like, okay, this was crap. I didn't need that.
That's right.
You could just get rid of things
Discard
that you don't need.
But these are some handy little things that we put in our packs that we feel are helpful, and what we can do is we can even let you know some of the items that we do have, and then you decide yourself what you want in your kit.
Soap is important. Just cut a little cube of soap.
Yeah, dental floss, soap. Just a few things, a little candle,
You can get lists online as well for things, but it's best to know what you actually need, because what you need might be different to what we need. So
that's right.
You can do, you remember.
So you can do this too.